All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling a really powerful idea, one that pretty much changes how we think about brands. We're going to break down the core concepts from Marty Neumeier's classic book, The Brand Gap, and figure out how to build a brand that people actually connect with. So let's start with this quote, because it really just turns the old way of thinking about branding completely on its head. For years, companies thought, branding was just about making the perfect ad or a clever tagline. But Neumeier says, nope, that's not it at all. The point is, your brand doesn't live in your marketing department. It lives inside the minds of your customers. It's what they think, what they feel, what they say to their friends. That's your brand. So, if a brand is a gut feeling, what does that actually mean? Well, it means it's not logical. It's intuitive, it's emotional, and it's super personal. It's the sum of every single little interaction someone has with you. It's not just your logo or what you sell, it's that instant gut reaction someone has when they hear your name. And honestly, that feeling is everything. We've all been there, right? You see an ad from a company that says they're all about simplicity and being user-friendly, but then you go to their website and it's an absolute nightmare to use. Or they talk a big game about being innovative, but their products feel like they're from 10 years ago. That disconnect, that huge chasm between what a company says and what it does, that's what Neumeier calls the brand gap. So where does this gap even come from? Well, it happens because there are two sides of the business brain, and a lot of the time, they are not talking to each other. You've got the left brain, that's all the logic, the strategy, the spreadsheets, the analytics. And then you've got the right brain, that's the magic, the creativity, the design, the storytelling. When those two halves operate in different worlds, you end up with a brand that feels inconsistent and, frankly, a little untrustworthy. But here's the good news. That gap doesn't have to be a permanent problem. Neumeier actually gives us a really clear, actionable framework for building a bridge across it. It's a proven method for getting that logic and magic to work together, so you can turn that disconnect into a brand that's really powerful and, well, charismatic. And the way we do that is with this 5-step process. It's all about systematically building that bridge. It starts with making your brand truly different. Then it's about getting everyone to collaborate internally. From there, you innovate the entire experience. You validate it with real people, and finally, you cultivate the brand so it can grow and evolve. Each one of these steps builds right on top of the last to create something really cohesive and strong. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What do each of these disciplines actually look like in the real world? This is basically the blueprint for building a brand that customers don't just buy from, but a brand they actually believe in. First up, differentiate. Look, in today's crowded world, trying to be just a little bit better than the next guy is a losing game. It just creates this sea of sameness where customers don't see any real difference and just end up picking the cheapest option. The real win is to be radically different. You have to ask yourself, what can we be the only one at? Like Neumeier famously said, when everyone else zigs, you gotta zag. But being unique is just an idea if it's stuck in a boardroom. To make it real, you have to collaborate. A brand is way too important to be stuck in some marketing silo. It totally falls apart when the strategy folks, the creative team, and the people actually talking to customers aren't all on the same page. The only way to fix this is to treat branding like a team sport where everyone is playing from the same playbook. And once your whole team is rowing in the same direction, that's when you can really start to innovate. A brand promise feels pretty empty if you don't have the creative execution to back it up. And innovation isn't just about your advertising. It's about the product itself, the name, the design, the whole experience. I mean, just think about Apple's packaging. They turned a simple cardboard box into this whole theatrical moment. It reinforces their promise of incredible design before you even turn the product on. That is innovation in action. But even the most brilliant ideas can totally miss the mark if they don't connect with actual people. And that's why you have to validate. You can have the best strategy in the world, but it's worthless if your customers don't get it. Remember, the brand lives in their head, not yours. This step is all about getting out of your own echo chamber, testing your ideas with your audience, and making sure that the gut feeling you want to create is the one they actually have. Okay, so you've done all that work, but you're not done. The last discipline, the one that never ends, is to cultivate. A great brand isn't a project you finish and then just walk away from. It's like a living thing that needs constant care and guidance to grow and adapt. This is all about managing the brand over the long haul, aiming for a nice coherent feeling, not just robotic repetition. And the real engine behind all of it? It's your company culture. Your team has to live and breathe the brand promise from the inside out. Whew, that was a lot, I know. So let's zoom in on what is maybe the single most powerful and actionable tool from that very first discipline, differentiation, to help you make this real right now. This right here is the onliness statement. It looks like a simple fill-in-the-blank sentence, but trust me, it is incredibly hard to complete honestly. It forces you to get brutally clear about what actually makes you unique. We are the only this. This simple framework is like the ultimate test for your strategy. If you can't fill this in clearly and confidently, you probably don't have one yet. So what happens after all this work? After you've differentiated, collaborated, innovated, validated, and cultivated, what's the big payoff? What happens when you finally bridge that gap between the cold, hard strategy and the creative magic? You create what's called a charismatic brand. And this is the holy grail. It's a brand that's so distinct, so trusted, and so vital to its customers that they honestly feel like there is no substitute. Think about brands like Harley-Davidson or IKEA or Apple. People who love those brands aren't just satisfied customers, they're true believers. So here's the bottom line. That feeling of intense loyalty, that belief that there's no other choice, it doesn't happen by accident. It's built piece by carefully and consistently bridging the brand gap. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. What's the gut feeling your brand is creating for people right now?